Any other questions?
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Is there anybody you want to collaborate now on the new music scene?
On the new music scene? Well, I do get a lot of new bands who send in their CDs so I can play them. I don't care if they're signed or not. I'll play them if I like them. I'm not into that. If I hear a good song, they're on the radio on my show, which goes throughout the United States. It's not just one state or one city that it plays in. It's a good question. I really never thought of that. You know, I mean, of course, I would have loved to have played it with Jimi Hendrix. I would have loved to have, you know, played with the Beatles. I'm just being serious. I would have loved to have jammed with Miles Davis and Dave Brubeck. That would have been great. And Louis Armstrong and guys like that. I'd love to jam with Buddy Guy. That would have been really cool. I mean, Jethro Tull. They're amazing. You know, the first 4 or 5 albums are just, to me, just unbelievable. Ian Anderson is just an exceptional, one-of-a-kind musician. But I had the pleasure to jam with Roger Daltrey about 6 years ago. We did My Generation together at the Bottom Line. That was a lot of fun, because as a little kid, that was one of my favorite songs, with Keith Moon playing the drums on that. It just blew me away. So, you know, a question like that really I need to take time on that. I mean, I'd love to play with, I saw Paul McCartney at the Apollo Theater. He was great, still great. I'd love to play with him. But for now, I gotta keep this Ramones legacy going, because there are a lot of people out there that want to hear these songs, you know. Hi.
Hi. I have one little piece of advice, or you can give my son one little piece of advice as a drummer who's got a little bit of talent behind him. I know Sandy can speak to it, and Dave. And
okay.
He's 11 and he's going to be coming up. What is maybe a couple of thoughts?
Thoughts of 11-year-old drummer. Okay. Don't bang on your desk in school because they'll complain. Yeah. It'll reflect on your report card, believe me. That happened to me. Use that energy to pick up a pair of sticks and play them on some drum pads. And if you're really serious, start out with a cheap set. And then if you're really, really serious, then trade that in and get a real professional set. Just keep rehearsing and playing, and, you know, at least an hour a day if you can, and learn to exercise. That's important. Run. Don't take the elevator, take the stairs, you know. You use certain finger exercises. That's not just your arms, it's your hands and your fingers. You know, if you could use your fingers a lot more than, you know, to hold a stick, and to play quicker, like a jazz drummer would. That's very important. And there's a lot of good exercises out there. Double stroke rolls, your single stroke rolls, 5-stroke rolls, 9-stroke rolls. I started out playing in a high school band. You know, my first job was to be a marching snare drummer. So the football team would go, and you'd be there with the marching band. I'd be there with the snare drum. But I had my own band when I was 16. We did 2 albums for Buddha Records, Counter Sutra, with that was Neil Bogart's label, and then he formed Casablanca. So I started young at 16. But yeah, you know, you have to do good in school. That's very important. You have to, because you need an education, a lot more than when I was your age. You have to finish school. And then if you feel you're good enough to be professional and take the touring, recording, flying, and then you have to do interviews, you might have to do some videos, you have to live that life. So it's a big step to get into that business, and make sure, so this is very important, that you have a good lawyer and a good accountant and a great manager, like Harvey Leeds. Because if you don't sign those contracts in the beginning, you won't get a piece of the action. And what I mean is your royalties, publishing, the royalties on your merchandise with your other band members, you don't want it to come to legal situations. You just want it clear in the beginning. If you have it clear in the beginning, you won't have any problems later on, because things can pop up. So my whole idea is, if you want to be a drummer, you just got to rehearse a lot, and that's important. You know, and try to create your own style, if you can.
Click track on Ramones records. Has one ever been used?
I always play the click tracks. Always play the click tracks on all the Ramones. I did 10 studio albums with the Ramones. I feel that we're people. Our speeds, we vary. And sometimes the click track saved a lot of time. So you play the drum track down, and then the bass player will play along with it, or the guitar player, or together. Then the vocals will play to it. But at least if that guitar player and bass player has to go back to the song, at least he can play to a very steady beat, which is the click track. Now, if you're able to play to a click track, then you're really in good shape, because you're becoming a human machine there. Not only that, are you playing the beat of the click track, you're playing all these fills around it, and off beats and things, and cymbal crashes, and then you got to come right back on the beat. And to me, that's the way I like to record, but everyone has their own opinion. You know, a lot of people might think it's very sterile, okay, it's good to waver a little bit within the tempo. I believe it should just be right on and tight all the time.
And you could still have that human element if you're recording with a click track. The fact that, like you said, we're human beings. So even though we are playing with a click track or playing along with a drum machine, you still have that human element, whether it's a millimeter behind, a little millimeter ahead, or whatever. And it also helps in editing and saving time and whatever. And you rehearse with a metronome, I assume.
I did when I was a young teenager. I rehearsed with a metronome and a little drum pad. And I played along to the hits of the day. You know, Beatles songs and Who songs, Stone songs, stuff like that. And then I started getting into jazz things. I thought Mitch Mitchell, Jimi Hendrix's drummer, was a jazz drummer. And I followed him a lot, which he was. He was definitely jazz influenced. Ginger Baker was jazz influenced. So, Charlie Watts, you know, great, the backbeat, you know. Yeah. So there's a lot of good styles out there. Don't limit yourself to one thing. Try to like everything, you know, and just eventually you'll have your own style.
And if you think you're going to not ever rehearse with a metronome and then go in the studio, which 99 out of 100 things in the studio with Pro Tools and all that are done with a click, if you think you're not going to, you don't rehearse with a metronome and then go in the studio and, hello, there's a click, forget about it. You have to be prepared. You have to be used to working with that consistent clock.
Or else what they'll do is they'll use a drum machine, which makes it sound very artificial. You could always tell. You know, there's nothing like the real thing, you know, so.
Any other last questions, because we have to move.
Howdy.
How do we get the spaghetti sauce?
Well, Harvey Leeds, he's right there, you can ask him. So, you know, they're in stores, certain stores, but it's a grassroots thing. It's in about 50 stores, but you can get it on also my.com and Facebook. You can order it, you know. But it's been one big adventure, this tomato sauce thing.
Did you have a true, authentic Italian test that?
Oh yes, yes, we did. My mechanic's Italian, real Italian. He's from Turin, Italy, and he took a jar home, and his wife cooks for him. And they tried it on some spaghetti, and they called me personally, and they said they loved it. So coming from a real Italian guy like that was an honor. And I love the guy, and he's not an ass kisser, excuse the language, he's not a yes man, and he would have told me what to do with it and where to put it if he didn't like it. So.
All right, anybody else? Anybody else? The last question. Okay, no more questions.
Okay, thank you.
Put your hands together, Marky Ramone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Marky.
Thank you.
Thank you.